So this is gonna be my first video in 2022. Haven't shot much. It's been winter time and just haven't done much. So I got rid of the old CRF 150, upgraded to a 2020 YZ250FX, and this is gonna be my review on this bike. I haven't really, I rode a little bit. Haven't got to do any Perry rides yet. We're still waiting on them to open up. They don't open until April 1st, April 2nd, one of them two. I think it's the 1st. And all in all, compared to my last bike, this is my second year riding, the power delivery, so much better. I had a lot of people telling me to go 2-stroke, don't go 4-stroke, but that's what I started out with, was a 4-stroke, and I said I'm gonna keep it going. And the bike itself, when I first bought it, I did have some issues with it. I found 3 plugs within 4 hours of putting on the bike. So I called the dealership that I originally got it from. I'm not going to mention any names because it didn't go as planned, and ended up taking it to a different dealership because they actually had answers for it. And I'll give a shout out to that dealership. That would be Big Hometown down in Marietta, Ohio. Good dealership. They took care of it. It ended up being that the ECU needed updated. So when they first built the bike in 2020, it's not all of them was affected. The dealership ran my VIN and it came back where it was affected. So Yamaha, shout out to Yamaha, took care of it. Paid for the ECU flash. I took it down there, got it updated. It was running way too rich. Crank and idle was just rich. It was just dumping too much fuel into it. So we took it down there, got that taken care of, brought it back, rode it a couple times. Everything's going good. Pros that I like about the bike. I love the power delivery. I love electric start. It makes things so much easier when you're doing technical stuff. Side of a hill, won't be able to. It's gonna be harder to kickstart a little quick. I like that the mapping. So on this bike, it has a map selector. I can upload 2 maps from my phone and put them on here, and then I can change them maps on the fly. So say map 1, I put, which I actually have the Travis Preston map running, Travis Preston connected, and it's a good map. It's more for speed and power. And then when I put it in map 2 automatically detunes them. So I put a detuned map in map 2, and then it already detunes it itself. So that way, when I get into more technical and slippery stuff, then I can switch to that on the fly and be able to give it where I don't get much wheel spin, not much torque where it wants to pop the front tire up, to help with my momentum to get up hills and over logs and rocks and stuff like that. Other pros, the seat height's good. I like how they did the hidden gas tank. So I know people have rode them with gas tanks. It's always there and you always end up hitting it. Well, they did away with that. So it's just smooth. You can get all the way up on top of the tank here to help with more center of gravity. And that's what they did with the gas tank, is they put it down in. So with the gas tank being lower, they made it where the center of gravity of the bike is lower instead of up top. They do make an aftermarket oversized fuel tank for this bike. The fuel tank on this bike is a 2.2 gallon. When you put the aftermarket oversized tank, it only takes it up to a 2.8, and then it comes back with having a gas tank sticking up. If it was like a gallon more difference, then I think it'd be worth looking into and getting it, but to me it's not. Just 0.6 more gallons. It's got a fuel light, so that way you know fuel light's on, I need fuel. Get back to it. Other things I like to point out about the bike is, suspension feels great. Like the fronts feel great. They plant well. Like I feel like the bike is holding on good. It ain't it ain't bouncing everywhere. The rear end feels great. The suspension on it, braking system, everything brakes good. trying to think of what else. I mean, there's a lot I can list. I'm not trying to do a long video, just a little brief of it. Cons, I found out that it don't like to start in gear. It will, but it's a pain. So coming back into neutral, and they say that if you go and put a higher power battery in, so like it's got like a 130 cold cranking amp from the factory in it. Everybody says you go put a 220 cold cranking anti-gravity battery, it'll start every gear. Every gear it'll start up. I've had a lot of people talking about hot starts, asking if I have hot start problems. That was one of the problems. Well, one of the fixes with the ECU was supposed to be because the hot start was just that the plug was getting filled with fuel, so it was making it where it didn't want to start. I have not experienced issues with that yet. Which then again, I haven't really rode it. I put 6 hours on the bike, but I haven't experienced that issue. Just the in gear starting was the only issues. Then other cons, I don't know. I really don't have much else to not say about it. Everything works great on this bike. It's got good low end power. Haven't found a hill that I've tried so far that I can't make it up. Situations, depends on what you're doing. The tires that's on it came with the bike. They're just MX tires, so they're really hard. So I will be switching them out and getting more of a soft intermediate tire that way for what the riding I do. Protection wise, the skid plate, I will be upgrading it, getting a better skid plate. The ones that come factory from the Yamaha, it's an alright skid plate, but then like it's a flimsy plastic. It's not too stiff, it's not too flimsy, but it does the job for now. Get me through with just the learning process of the bike. I don't know exactly what all came on the bike factory because I did buy the bike used, but I already have a bunch of stuff on the bike that was on it when I bought it. Like it's got Tusk shifter, Tusk brake lever, Tusk clutch lever, Tusk brake pedal. It's got the case saver. It's got front rotor protector. It's got the front fork protectors. It's got a shark fin on the other side. It's got frame guards. The bike already has a bunch of stuff. They do not come factory with a fan on them. This bike had the fan on it when I got it. It's got a Tusk radiator cap that shows my temperature of the bike, and that's one of the things I like about this bike. For this year, it's got a built-in Wi-Fi box. And I think it's part of your CID box. It's got Wi-Fi in it, and I can connect on my phone and bring up the GYTR app, and I can, when I'm checking out my bike, I can see when I put a tune on it from the phone. I can see what my throttle percentage is and where it's coming into power. I can see what the temperature of the bike itself is running. I can see the intake temperature, how much pressure is coming in from the intake. It's just, the app itself is awesome. You can set timers or alarms to go off. Like, so when I put 8 hours on the bike and I want an oil change, you set it for 8 hours for an oil change, and then it'll set you a reminder on your phone because it tracks the hours on the bike also. So when you put that on, it'll come up 8 hours. Hey, you need to do your oil change, and that'll help keep you in mind. So you keep your oil change, keep your maintenance up, so that way you don't run into normal four-stroke problems, because they do have what people call valve problems and stuff whenever they start getting ran a lot. Well, mainly that's out of people who do racing. I don't do racing yet. I am going to be participating in a GNCC this year, but then again, it's not motocross, so my bike's not going to be wide open the whole time. It's going to be trail riding racing. But we're gonna give it a shot, see how it goes. Trying to think of what else I can talk about. Get into stuff. Another pro air filter, toolless air filter entry. Just twist this little handle up on top, and then pop the cover off. You get right to the air filter. Do I like where the air filter is located? I'm still questioning it, because where the breathing comes from is right in the front. So if you're riding behind somebody, all their dust is going to go right into your air filter. So cleaning air filters might have to be done a little bit more, but I like that it's toolless. Spark plug is a little hard to get to. They do make a special tool to get to it where you can just go from the side and go right in. I don't have that yet. So in order for me to get to my spark plug, when I had to change it, take the seat off, take the front fairings off, take the gas tank off, and then get to it, just because it sits down in the block. I don't know, I mean, it's a good bike. Like, I'm still getting used to it. I'm gonna be shooting videos starting here in April. I'll start shooting all the videos of my rides and stuff on it. Get back into my fishing videos when it starts warming up. But no, we've went out riding a couple times. Me and Perry Riders 8. He's still on a 250 FX or 250X, and we've been running together. And he's hopped on my bike, and I've hopped on his bike, and just to feel the difference. And I mean, the two-stroke I think is going to do better. He just has that power band. It's got so much low end torque. My bike, he says my bike has a lower first gear, and I don't know the way I felt that was on an engine braking when we was going downhill. Like my first gear would actually slow my bike down, his wasn't. So, but he says two strokes don't have that. Which I'm still, like I said, I'm still new to dirt biking. Bark busters, they help out a lot, help save levers. So I'm glad when I bought the bike it had all this stuff on it, and it's going to help me in the long run just because I wouldn't have to dump much more money into it, because I could have went and bought a brand new YZ250FX or a brand new YZ250X and then had to go take the money and put all the protection and all the aftermarket stuff on it. So I'm glad I found one that already had everything on it. I like it a lot. It's fuel injected, it's easy to start. It's got a hot valve on it, so if it does have a hot start problem, you're supposed to hit the valve and it's supposed to help it. But like I said, I have not had that issue. Fuel consumption, it all comes down to what map you're running. With the 2 maps that I'm running, it don't really do bad. It does. I've bought 5 gallons since I've owned the bike, and I'm like halfway. I've only used like 2.5 gallons, but I put a whole tank in my kids' 4-wheeler with it too. So I'm trying to think of what else I need to touch on. Just I don't know. I really can't say much more about it because I haven't really got to ride it more. After we do a whole day of riding, I will do a better review on it to feel how I felt about it then. We've only put, like I said, the bike had 23 hours when I bought it. Now I'm at 30 hours, or 7 hours altogether on the bike that I put. We're going out tomorrow and riding again, and then after tomorrow I'm gonna do my first oil change on it because it had a fresh oil change when I got the bike. I like what they've done with coloring. The blue valve cover top, love it. The bolts, plug holes, loving the blue. Like it's everywhere. Like it's on the other side. All my shifters have blue on them. The DID wheels with the blue is beautiful. Like the way the bike looks itself, beautiful. One thing I do wish I had was blue number plates. I don't like the white. I guess if I put some decals on them, it might help. It's graphic hits. But my boots, you can see this black here. That's where my boot rubs. And I can't get it off. So if anybody has any suggestions on how to get it off, let me know. But then again, it's probably just going to keep happening. So I really ain't worried about it. Sounds great. Starts great. And we haven't had much other issues ever since we got the ECU updated. I just changed my radiator fluid. I didn't know what they had in it from factory, but I wanted to run engine ice to help keep it cooler, especially when it gets hot up here in Ohio. And when we start doing single track riding and everything, it's going to be idling a lot instead of getting opened up. The fan kicks on at about 190, and it's automatic. I don't have to do it, so I like that. The exhaust system on it, like I said, it sounds great. It's kind of different from normal bikes because Yamaha decided to flip the motor around, so the header starts from the back and wraps all the way around to the other side. And just all in all, it's a great bike, man. I would recommend it to anybody that wants to get a good woods bike. Like from my understanding, they built the bike to race hare scrambles and stuff. So it's got the 250F motor with the WR250 transmission in it, so you get that extra 6 gear. And the gearing in it is lower than a race bike, but I mean it feels great. I haven't had a chance to open it all the way up to 6th gear. I think the highest gear I've had it in was 4th. What else? The gearing for the sprockets itself is good. I got a 13 in the front, 51 in the back. Does great. If I do anything else to help get more lower end torque, it'll probably be a weighted flywheel. That's about the only other thing I need to do to the bike other than different tires and a new skid plate. People talk about getting radiator guards. I might get them down the road. We'll find out. Depends on if I start busting radiators. We'll hopefully be able to make better hills this time and be able to not bust my gas tank like I did on the 150. But all in all, it's a perfect bike for me. I low. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. I just wanted to give a quick review for my first video, and hopefully everybody else will look into getting bikes like this. It depends on what kind of riding you do. Like all we mainly do is just woods ride and trail ride. We're gonna go hit a couple different new trails this year. We want to go down and hit Wayne National Forest. We want to go to Wellsville. We're gonna be racing in Millfield, Ohio. Me and Harry Riders 8 Seth. We're gonna be hitting that up May 22nd. I'm gonna film it. We're gonna start doing a lot of riding videos. I want to do, anytime I work on this bike, I will do reviews other than spark plug incident. But whenever I'm like, all right, I'm gonna change my skid plate. I'm gonna help people out by showing how I do it. That way, if they ever have questions and they want to know how do I change this on my bike, I'll send it. Maintenance wise, like I'm not that mechanically inclined to go in and rebuild my motor, so I will be taking it to Big Hometown Motorsports in Marietta, Ohio, because they did a great job with my bike, and the customer service there is amazing. So I highly recommend going down and seeing them. And then just all in all, we'll just keep riding and go from there. Hope you guys enjoy the review video. It's just, like I said, it's just a short one until we actually get some good riding out of it. And hopefully you guys like it. Share, like, subscribe. Be ready for some videos because they're going to start coming, like a lot. I'll give you a little quick look around of the bike so you guys can see a better view of it. Don't mind the water spots on the floor. I just washed it. It's got the 18-inch rear and the 21-inch front. I really like my brake pedal on this one. It's got the breakaway with the tether to make it where it doesn't break all the way away. Beauty kit that somebody put on it. Like I said, the blue that pops out on this bike is incredible. So, hopefully you guys enjoy this, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.